The reason for the interruption is because they're going to be issuing a tornado warning likely soon for that particular storm over in Cleveland and into Lincoln and Jefferson counties as well. It's something we've been watching for the past hour or so, and we also already have a tornado warned storm for parts of southwest Arkansas, for parts of Miller and Lafayette County. So right now, as of 9:48, we just saw a tornado warning being issued for that same area I was just mentioning. If you can go ahead and switch over back into radar, if you guys are able to, thank you. There has been a tornado warned storm right here. We'll go ahead and zoom in for you guys so we can go ahead and take a closer look. As I mentioned, tornado warning, this is radar indicated. No hail actually has been indicated with this particular storm, just plenty of lightning for this particular storm, capable of producing a tornado. It's about 7 miles southeast of Kedron, or about 8 miles east of Ricin. It's moving right now currently towards the north and east at about 40 miles per hour. And here's a reason why they actually went ahead with that tornado warning, just because we're starting to see a little bit of some of that circulation within some of that storm. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look there and mark where we're seeing some of that rotation for you guys. So if you're in parts of Cleveland, Jefferson, Lincoln County, this warning is in effect until at least 10:30 this morning. So right now I'm going to go ahead and mark where we're seeing some of that rotation right here. So in between where Randall and Calmer are, this is the best chance of where we're seeing some of the rotation within some of that storm. A little bit of a closer look, you can see within the community of Friendship. So if you are within that area, definitely try to take the time to find a safe place and just hunker down a little bit. Again, this is a tornado warned storm. It's radar indicated, so we aren't seeing any confirmations as of yet of whether or not there has been visuals of this. It's mainly going off based off the rotation of the storm, the strength of it, and there's not even much hail to be being indicated within this storm as well. So this is what I'm going to be doing for you guys. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start to make a track the path of this storm. It's moving towards the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my time to put in the information of that storm as it continues to move towards the north and east. And then this warning does stay in effect until at least 10:30. So go ahead and just give me one moment here to go ahead and put a path on this storm towards the north and east at about 40 miles per hour. I'll go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at that storm once again for you guys. I'm going to put this track. So if you're in the communities of Ladd, 959, it should be at your doorstep. Noble Lake at 10:03. Further down north and east, we have the community of Tamo, Vaster School, Grady at 10:08, Swan Lake at 10:11. Let me go ahead and put that back real quick for you guys. Again, this warning is in effect until at least 10:30. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more of a street view, so we have a better idea of what areas are likely near where that center of rotation is. I'm going to switch back over to our storm relative winds and take a little bit of a closer look at the center where that rotation is and see if you guys recognize any of these roads. So I'm zooming in right now in the community of Randall. If you recognize that. So here are some roads. If you're in the community of Randall, there is Lawrence Cove, there's Hardin Road, we have Parker Loop as well. Further to our north and east, Casey Road. We also have Rogers Road as well. So if you recognize any of these areas, any of these streets in general, just definitely find your safe place. I'm going to go see if I can recognize any locators, whether there's any Walmarts. If I zoom in a little bit closer here. So it doesn't look like it's recognizing anything at the moment. So continuing down further, we have Griffith Springs Road. We also have County Road at 298. So I'm going to go ahead and take another wide view. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm going to switch back over into live radar and do a little bit of a wider view of what's going on across the area, across the state. We did have a tornado warning storm over in southwest Arkansas, and it's still in effect until at least 10:30 this morning. In terms of any updates right now, that storm is still in place until for the next half hour or so, but we're still watching out for that one over in parts of Cleveland County as well until at least 10:30. So I'm going to go ahead and try and gather as much as information as I can. Meteorologist Nathan Scott will be joining me shortly so we can kind of get you guys a better picture of what's going on as well. So again, if you're tuning in, we have a tornado warning in effect until 10:30 for parts of Cleveland, Jefferson, and Lincoln counties. This severe storm has been radar indicated. It's not visually confirmed of a tornado moving towards the north and east at around 40 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another closer look at this storm. I'm going to go ahead and try to put a track on it for you guys as well while we get Nathan to get ready. So it's moving towards the north and the east. So if you recognize any of these places, like I mentioned, the community of Randall, we have Mount Olive School at 10:02. It should be right at your doorstep there. Community of Ladd, Noble Lake at 10:09. Community of Tamo, Vaster School, 10:11. Matting at 10:13, and then we have Huff's Island Public Use Area and Swan Lake at around the 10:16 hour. So the storm again moving towards the northeast. In terms of seeing anything on social media about this storm, I have not seen any updates in terms of whether or not it's visually confirmed. So something we'll keep you guys posted on. So in the meantime, again, so we have a tornado warning storm for parts of Lincoln, Cleveland, and Jefferson counties until at least 10:30. What I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to do a wide view right now so we can see what's going on in terms of severe weather in the area. I'll go ahead and take off these automatic warnings so you guys have a better idea of what you're able to see. We've been tracking the potential for, if you guys can go ahead and switch right back over to me, we've been tracking the potential for some severe weather as early as the late morning hours and into early afternoon. And that's what the case is right now, especially for parts of southeast Arkansas. So in terms of the latest severe storm outlook, this is what we're seeing right now. I'm just giving a little bit of some time for it to load. Parts of central, eastern, and southern Arkansas were under a level 2 out of 5 chance for some severe storms. And again, that it also included not only some damaging winds, but also the potential for those tornadoes, which is what we're seeing right now. I'm going to go ahead right back into that radar for you guys. And just give you another update with what's going on visually. They are still continuing right now, according to the National Weather Service, that tornado warning for Cleveland, Jefferson, and Lincoln County until at least 10:30. So we still have about a little bit over half an hour to go. We do also have that other tornado warning storm that you can see in southwest Arkansas for parts of Lafayette County until 10:30. As well. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom right on in for you guys on that same tornado warning storm once again as it continues to move towards the north and east. So the latest updates with that, according to the National Weather Service, this severe storm is capable of producing a tornado. It's actually located near the community of Feeneyville. We have Nathan Scott here joining us shortly to kind of help out with the situation. But yeah, it's currently moving 9 miles towards the north and west of Star City, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Thank you to Nathan Scott for joining us this morning. I'm not sure.
Thank you, Corallys, for covering this. Starting off a little bit earlier than expected.
Yes, indeed, for sure.
Yeah, Tom and I were thinking it would be around 10 o'clock where we see probably some severe thunderstorm warnings, but we're going right into the activity out there this morning. And like Corallys has been saying, we got a new tornado warning issued for Jefferson County, a small sliver of Cleveland County, and also northwestern parts of Lincoln County. So Corallys, let's zoom in. Let's go street level. If we can pick out some streets and then also go ahead and put on the winds. Take a look at the winds within this cell. So if you're watching us in the community of Hooker, Moscow, here's where the tornado, if there is something happening at this time, it's going to be located right about here, right where Cleveland County, Lincoln County, and Jefferson County all meet up. So Pine Virgin, you're certainly very close to that rotation. Right now, it's a fairly weak rotation, but this cell is all by itself. It's a supercell thunderstorm, so it could continue to intensify as it makes its way off to the north and northeast. So once again, Hooker, right along Highway 425. We've got Highway 199 and the community of Moscow. You need to take your tornado precautions at this time because there could be something coming from the clouds down to the ground at any moment if it's not happening right now.
Yeah, that's right, Nathan. I've been watching this storm since we were doing the Vine coverage. It was looking a little bit suspicious. So it kind of kept pulsating and in terms of weakening and strengthening, and finally it kind of mustered up some of that strength. The rotation not nearly as defined as it was earlier, but yeah, you can definitely see that it's still very much there. So something they're just going to continue to keep an eye out for at least the next 30 minutes. I am seeing, according to the National Weather Service, that it has shown signs of weakening, but the environment is still very favorable for tornadic activity. Again, we're underneath that warm sector. There's a very warm, untouched air in place there. So a lot of these storms can easily get some energy to, cause some problems later down the road.
Corrals, let's take a look at a wider look at the entire area of Central Arkansas, really over Arkansas, because this is just the start of things to come over the next few hours. Go over to just regular radar with the rain. We got another tornado warning down here into extreme southwestern parts of Arkansas. This one, if it holds together, Ouachita County, Camden, be on lookout because these cells are making their way off to the north and northeast. By far, here's where the storms are starting to really initiate. So anybody to the east of that line just needs to stay weather aware until this line clears through. Here in Little Rock, looks like the worst weather that we can expect will be happening probably from 11 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then once that line makes its way off to the east, we're done with that threat of severe weather. We got the tornado watch in effect until 4 o'clock for a large part of Central Arkansas. So that means you need to stay weather aware. And once again, you may not see a severe thunderstorm warning. It may just go to a tornado warning. And that's what happened with this cell as it made its way from Cleveland County into southern parts of Jefferson County. Still have that tornado warning. Everything else, this is just rain. Corrals, can we take a look at the lightning and seeing if that lightning is also picking up within that cell or if it's going down? Because with the lightning, the more lightning that's being produced out of a storm, that tells us the stronger the storm is, the stronger the updraft is. Hence, probably a better chance there could be a tornado as that lightning, if it continues to uptick or if it drops off, then that says the storm is starting to weaken.
The lightning is not impressive. As a matter of fact, we didn't even have any hail indicated with this storm when they issued that warning, and it doesn't seem that that's the case. Right now, in the last update, there's been about 3/4 of an inch of hail being reported, but when the warning first came up, no hail was being reported, and right now it's still showing signs of weakening and not a lot of lightning. So keep that in mind. We have the number of strikes is at 10. In our next check-in, that number might go up or might go down, and that's going to help us determine whether or not it's strengthening or weakening.
And for the folks in Pine Bluff, you are not under the tornado warning. That rotation is just down to your southeast. But if you're traveling on Highway 425 or Highway 65, you're running right into that storm. Very heavy rainfall, also the potential of some hail. The tornado is going to be behind this heavy rain, so it's almost like rain wrapped as this storm makes its way off to the north and northeast. So once again, Hooker, Moscow, and then getting into parts of Arkansas County. Be on the lookout. This is a nasty storm, and it may produce a tornado at any moment. If we can go over to the debris detector, Corallys, and see if we're seeing anything with the lowering of the CC. Let's go ahead and rewind that just a little bit, go back about 5 minutes to see if there's anything showing up there, if there's any lowering of the CC. I'm not seeing that at this time, but there could be something there, looks like into northwest Lincoln County. But let's go to the latest frame of that. And just to make sure this is not some radar issue that we're getting, I'll put my finger right there. Now go over to the winds, and if they match up, then that will tell us the story. Okay. That's that could be something happening. We're not sure right now, but that does line up with the rotation, it looks like, into northwestern parts of Lincoln County and moving into southeast Jefferson County. That could be the radar picking up on the potential of maybe some debris being lofted by this potential tornado if it's on the ground. Still hard to say right now because when we look at the debris detector, sometimes there's some false information. Certainly the rotation is there. Let's zoom in into that part of Lincoln County, Corrales, and there we have the community of Midway, once again Hooker, Mount Olive School. That rotation is right over Mount Olive School at this time. Hopefully it's staying aloft, staying in the clouds, but we just don't know. And that's why you have to take your tornado precautions and take this situation pretty seriously as it makes its way from northwestern parts of Lincoln County, getting into southeast Jefferson County, Highway 425. Racing its way off to the northeast about 40 miles per hour. Cross, if we put a track on that, zoom out a little bit more, and let's go ahead and put a track, and let's take it into Arkansas County, just in case that rotation remains in place, and they go with that tornado warning into Arkansas County.
It's moving towards the north and east, so they are continuing this warning. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and put that track for you guys. It's not including parts of Cleveland County now. It's just for Jefferson and Lincoln. So it's moving to the north and east at 45. So I'll go ahead and update that real quick. 45 miles per hour for you guys. So it's picked up pace just a little bit. Put it at the center towards the north and east. So this is what we're seeing down the road for those who are wondering, when is it coming, if it's coming towards my neighborhood. Like we mentioned, Mount Olive School is pretty much right over you guys. So hopefully everybody there has found a safe place or is taking the precautions for that. We already saw what happened over in Jessieville. These storms it can happen very quickly. So hopefully they've managed to find some safety for those over there right now. We have Hooker. You have Jefferson Church and Belmont Church. That should be arriving to you guys at around the next 5 to 10 minutes. Vaster School at 10:16. We also have the community of Tamo, Rising Star Public Use Area at 10:20, all the way down towards Swan Lake region at around 10:24.
Kraus, do you have a Storm Track 11 pulled up? If we could take a look at that. Just let the guys in the back know, because I want to take a look at the rotation tool and see if that's picked up at all. Can we rewind that back a little bit just to see how that's progressed over the past 5 to 10 minutes?
I got that. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that path real quick. So this is how it started out. It was very, a little bit disorganized. It started to show signs of strengthening there as it kind of passed just to the east of Ryson. And then you can kind of see how it started to intensify a little bit, and then once it started to make its exit towards the north and east of that community, that's when we saw that first tornado warning being issued for that, and it's been continuing now, exiting out of Cleveland County and still lingering around for Jefferson and Lincoln counties at the moment.
Okay, there's definitely still something there.
Yes.
There's some rotation right there, and what we're looking at is just the rotation within this storm cell. We've got the power to do this with the technology that we have these days to just break down where the rotation is within the storm cell, and it's right there where the blue is. So if there's something happening at this time, it's going to be right on the border of Lincoln County and Jefferson County, again lifting its way off to the north and northeast. Let's go back over to Max now, and let's take a look at the wide range once again in case people are just joining us, Corrales. Make sure that storm cell into southwestern parts of the state, if that's still active. That tornado warning is still active, in effect pretty close to Miller County. Again, Ouachita County, just be on the lookout for that because that cell is headed in your direction probably over the next hour or so. And then everything else is just rain, and some of this rain will be heavy at times. We'll have to be on the lookout for maybe the potential of some locally heavy rainfall that could cause some flash flooding issues if this line just kind of lingers around the region. But by far, the most concern we have is this cell moving from Lincoln County now into southeast Jefferson County. If it holds together, it's going to be moving into Arkansas County. Pine Bluff, you're not included in that tornado warning. It's just to the east of you. For all of central Arkansas, we're under a tornado watch until 4 o'clock for this afternoon. So we have several hours to get through. The atmosphere is primed, it's warm, it's humid, and we have some wind energy out there. About 5,000 feet above the surface, the winds are kicking in about 50 to 60 miles per hour. Some of that wind could transfer its way down to the surface, producing damaging wind gusts. That's the main threat out there today. But with this wind energy in place, we also have the twisting of the air, and that's why some of these storms have started to rotate and do have the potential of producing a brief tornado.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Nathan. Yeah, because we've been talking about, it's a lower end risk, but that doesn't necessarily mean zero. This is why we always treat even the lower end risks as serious as any of the other elevated risk. The instability, it was low, but it was still there for parts of the state. And like you mentioned, we still have the wind energy in place. So that's why we are seeing some of those warnings in effect at the moment. So that's something we're going to continue to track. In terms of any updates right now, I'm just kind of keeping an eye out what the National Weather Service is telling us. They're still continuing that tornado warning until at least 10:30. So we still have a little bit over 20 minutes left. Right now, though, in terms of that storm, let's go ahead and zoom right back in. It's between Jefferson and Lincoln counties. It's moving. It's located about 7 miles south of the community of Cottondale, 10 miles north of Star City. It's moving right now towards the north and east at about 35 miles per hour. So it's slowed down some. Let's go ahead and do an update on the lightning count like we mentioned earlier. The last time we checked in, it was only about 10 lightning strikes. It wasn't super impressive. Right now there's about 9, so slightly weakened some. They have been showing that it has been decreasing a little bit, but they're still holding on to that tornado warning, and that's going to be the case at least for the next 20 minutes or so.
And Corrals, can we just take a look at the individual warning, take off the radar, and just look at where this warning buys up all the real estate into that small sliver of Jefferson County? And even it's getting into, looks like, no, it's still in Jefferson County, that little appendage there. Very small sliver of Lincoln County still under a tornado warning. Extreme northern parts of Lincoln County is under that tornado warning. But once again, the communities of Moscow, Hooker, Cornerstone, you're under that tornado warning. Here's Pine Bluff and downtown Pine Bluff. You're outside the tornado warning, pretty close to Glen Lake. The rotation is right about here. So if there's something happening at this time, and right now it looks like the National Weather Service is still taking a look at the radar, and they'll continue to watch it over the next couple scans, and if it hasn't changed, they may drop the tornado warning if they're not seeing any changes. But you always have to be on your guard with a supercell thunderstorm because, like what we always say, they go through cycles. They can spin up very quickly, produce a brief tornado, and then weaken, but then spin up again in the next county over. So don't let your guard down. Even though this tornado warning may be dropped here in Jefferson County, Arkansas County, still be on the lookout because the ingredients in your neck of the woods could be a little more favorable for this storm to intensify once again. So as we take a look, there's Cornerstone, there's Moscow. Let's take a look at the winds once again. Corrals, zoom in, street level, and really pick out where this would be. So if there's something happening, it's going to be right about here. We've got the winds going into the storm. This is where the blue is, and the winds going away from the storm. So there's the rotation right about here, very close to Highway 425. We can zoom in even a little bit more, Corrales, I believe. We can really start to pick out some of these individual streets. So there you go. We got Abernathy Road. So Abernathy Road, that rotation is about to make its way right over your neck of the woods. Let's continue to pan off to the northeast, Corrals, and just follow along with me here. Johnson Road, there's Highway 65. Of course, that's a busy highway as it connects its way down into southeast Arkansas. There's the community of Linwood. So if you are watching us in any of these areas, Moscow, Linwood, I'm calling out your roads right now. You got a nasty storm, it's got some rotation with it, and it may produce a brief tornado at any moment. You're under that tornado warning. You need to take your tornado precautions if you already haven't. Turn up the TV and get to your safe place. Continue to pan off to the north and northeast, Corrals. There we have Noble Lake Road, Biomeadow Recreation Road, Blankenship Road, and let's continue to go up into this community of Sweden. So the community of Sweden looks like is also in the path of this potential tornado headed in your direction. Let's span it out here. Once again, it's a small part of Jefferson County, Pine Bluff not included. It is southeast Jefferson County and east Jefferson County where that little appendage is as you make your way from Cornerstone and off to the east, Highway 88. This is the only cell we're concerned about at this time. We're going to have to watch out for other storms developing throughout the day because they could start to rotate, and I do expect probably more tornado warnings to be issued going over the next few hours. So make sure you know what to do when a tornado warning is issued and where to go. When a tornado warning is issued, that means that the National Weather Service is seeing rotation on radar, and that rotation may make its way down to the ground at any moment, or there's something been spotted by law enforcement or spotters, and we have different types of tornado warnings. Hopefully we don't have to go into those different types. Right now, this is just a general tornado warning, so it's not confirmed, but the radar is showing rotation, and that's why we're on air at this time until this tornado warning is lifted. Let's span it out here, Corrales. Once again, this is just this one little cell. It's all by itself, so it can feed off this warm and humid air mass just down to the south, and that's why I'm warning you folks in Arkansas County. Yes, you're not under tornado warning technically at this time, but be on the lookout. So if you're watching us just to the south of Stuttgart, and I would say pretty close to DeWitt, in this part of Arkansas County, just be ready to take those precautions if needed. Everything else is just some heavy rain, and it looks like that tornado warning for southwest Arkansas that made its way from Miller County into Lafayette County and now into Columbia County, that has weakened, Corrales. So that's some good news.
Yes.
Hopefully that will continue to be the trend. But this part of the state I'm more concerned about because there's nothing going on in Cleveland County, in Lincoln County, Drew County, Ashley County, unfortunately, Chico, Deshay County. This part of the state, the atmosphere is going to be more ripe for the potential of severe weather. Hopefully it's just severe thunderstorm warnings, but we'll have to be on the lookout through the course of the afternoon that you could see some tornado warnings, especially into southeast Arkansas. Here into Little Rock and the metro, it's good we're having the rain right now, Corrales, because that is going to stabilize the atmosphere a little bit more. Not to say we may not see certainly some hail or some gusty winds, but I think with this rain moving in right now, the tornado threat here in Faulkner County, Pulaski County, and Saline County may be dropping off somewhat, but we're still under the tornado watch until 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right. I was actually about to pull up that map for those who have not seen it. This is a look at the tornado watches and warnings. So all that in yellow is a tornado watch, which means that the potential for seeing tornadoes is possible. And then the red is the actual warning itself. Again, this is still until at least 4 o'clock this afternoon for the watch itself. And that includes parts of central, south central, and southwest Arkansas. So I'll go ahead and turn it right back towards that radar for you guys and kind of go back and check up on that tornado warned storm that we've been seeing across parts of Jefferson and into Lincoln counties as well. No significant updates with this storm. It's still going to, oh, looks like they actually just dropped it. That's great news right there. It had been showing signs of weakening. And right now that was our only tornado warned storm at the moment. But again, a lot of these storms can pulsate. It shows signs of weakening and strengthening and weakening, kind of like this one storm was within the last hour. So of course we're going to keep you posted to see what these other storms might be doing throughout the rest of the morning and into the afternoon hours. So once again, another wide look at what's going on right now.
Let's take one more look at it.
Yes.
So we have nothing severe at this time, but this line is going to continue to make its way off to the east. Be on your guard here in the metro probably until about 1 or 2 o'clock. Once that line makes its way through, you're done with the threat of severe weather. Once again, southeast Arkansas, be ready to take action if tornado warnings are issued out there through the rest of the day. Tornado watch remains in effect until 4 o'clock. We're going to be here all day watching the radar very closely. If there's a tornado warning, we'll certainly break in. And don't forget, we also will be streaming live on THV 11 Weather Plus. You can always look for updates there. Make sure you have your THV 11 app downloaded. Those notifications are turned on. And 501-376-1111. That's the way you can send your reports and storm pictures in our direction. For meteorologist Corallys Ortiz, I'm Nathan Scott. We'll be back with more throughout the day.